All right, guys, what's up? It's Jack, and welcome back to another video. So it looks like we are finally getting Ranked Arena and Mastery Camo as a new map, and more apparently for Season 1, Chapter 2, which begins on the 3rd of July, which is right before the 4th of July. So that kind of makes sense. And also, they are right on time in terms of the deadline that the CEO pretty much had mentioned. So, but what I want to focus on here is what is specifically on here. So we're looking for feedback for Splitgate 2's faction system. Love it, hate it, fill out this short survey below and let us know. And we're going to do this in real time. We're going to do it here now. So player context. We're collecting feedback on the faction system in Splitgate 2. Your answers will help us decide whether to keep, improve, or remove this feature. The survey should take about 2 to 3 minutes. By faction system, we're referring to the playable groups, Sabrask, Arrows, Meridian, and their associated weapons, abilities, and gameplay characteristics. How much did you play the original Splitgate 1? Never played, tried it once or twice, played it occasionally, played it regularly, played it a ton. I would actually have to say I played it occasionally because when I did play it, for the short period of time that I did, I grinded it quite a bit. But then it kind of fell off, and then I came back once or twice, and that was it. So I'm going to say played occasionally. How much have you played Splitgate 2 so far? I haven't played it yet, just a few matches, a few hours, 10 plus hours, 50 plus hours. I just checked my numbers on Steam, and I'm at 149.7 in terms of hours played on the game. So let's just go with 50 plus hours. Which game modes do you play the most often? Arena, Battle Royale, both evenly, neither, just trying things out. Arena. Next. Are you aware that the game has 3 playable factions? Yes. Do you understand what makes each faction different, e.g. weapons, abilities, playstyle? Yes, very clearly. Say that's about accurate. Let's go on to next. All right, engagement and preference. Which faction do you play the most? Sabrask, Arrows, Meridian. I don't have a preference. I play all 3 equally. I'm not sure. You know, it really depends on my mood. It really does. Like today on stream, not too long before recording this, I was using the arrows like crazy. And in the beginning, once I got, a hold of the jackhammer, I was playing Sabrask a lot. I also like the assault rifle. The arrows assault rifle is also really good, but I love the movement, and that's what I basically played this last stream, and it's just couldn't get enough. And then Meridian, the assault rifle for the Meridian, I think, is probably the meta weapon as far as assault rifles go, and really good up close. So really, I mean, right now, in terms of how I'm feeling today, I'm feeling arrows, but tomorrow I might feel Sabrask, or the next day I might feel Meridian. It really changes. So I'm just going to say, I don't have a preference, so I play all 3 equally. I'm just going to go with that because I have played all 3 a good amount. How often do you pick your faction based off of their active ability, hyper sight, wall rush? Sometimes, because for me, the biggest reason why I would pick a faction is actually because of their weapons, because they're tied into their weapons, for me personally. So let's just say sometimes. How often do you pick your faction based on the weapon loadout? Pretty much always. I always say to myself, which weapon do I feel like using? And I kind of go from there. So let's go there. How do you feel about the fact that certain weapons are locked to specific factions? For example, not being able to use the Sabrask while playing as arrows. I like it. It makes each faction feel unique. I'm neutral. I don't really think about it. It bothers me. I wish I could use any weapon regardless of faction. I don't realize weapons were gated by faction. Now, personally speaking, I mean, even though it doesn't bother me, I wish I could use any faction regardless, any weapon regardless of faction, because I would love to mix and match, and I really don't think that it would knock things off balance if you were to actually, basically not have them attached to the faction, so, or that they're locked to specific factions. At least I personally don't think so. And I think this kind of mix-up would actually be good, but I also know that it makes each faction feel unique. But for me personally, even though it doesn't bother me, I wish I could use any weapon regardless of faction, because sometimes I want to be able to be fast, like the arrows, for instance, like how fast you can slide and stuff like that. If I could mix that with the Meridian's assault rifle, oh, dude, I mean, and all the different weapons, have slow with fast, fast with slow, mixing it up, I love it. So I'm gonna pick that one for me personally. Next, question 10: on a scale of 1 to 5, how much do factions add to the overall gameplay experience? 1, I hate them. 3, neutral. 5, extremely valuable. This is an interesting question. Now, I don't hate them, so it's not 1. So we've got neutral and extremely valuable. Now, with my experience, I would actually have to say that they're extremely valuable if used properly. Because today, again, I was using the arrows, I was using, you know, the slide mechanic which increases your speed and gets you the hell out of there, out of like, you know, hairy engagements sometimes. They could be game changers if used properly. So, damn. It's almost like I got mixed feelings about it, but again, if used properly, same thing with the Sabrask. You know, if you get that shield up in time when somebody's rushing you, it's a game changer, and it can it can mean the difference between a cap and a non-cap, or a win or a loss. So I'm gonna go with 5 on this. Extremely valuable, if used properly. I think this question over here relies. It depends on heavily on skill level. So I think people that are lower, and again, I'm not saying I'm a good player or anything like that. That's not up for me to decide. But people who may not be as good may vote a 1 or a 3, and people that are better are more likely to vote a 5. That's what I think, my opinion. All right, next up, on a scale of 1 to 5, how much do the faction active abilities, the Meridian, the Hypersight, the Sabrask Wall, Arrows Rush, add to the gameplay experience? A lot. You don't even have to say it. I mean, people are pinging me through walls like left and right. All right. Next up, future direction. If we remove the entire faction system from the game, how would you feel? It would greatly reduce up my enjoyment. It would somehow reduce my enjoyment. It wouldn't make much of a difference. It would somewhat improve my enjoyment. It would greatly improve my enjoyment. Wouldn't make much of a difference. Not for me, because I like the bare gameplay of this game, and that's, you know, yeah. So I mean, well, actually, you know what? Well, it wouldn't make much of a difference because I like the gameplay. So yeah, no, it wouldn't make much of a difference. Now, if the factions were in there and they were able to remove the fact that they were locked to weapons, it would greatly improve my enjoyment to where I could use a combination of any guns with any faction, for me personally. How do you feel about the faction abilities, e.g. Hypersight, Wall Rush? Yeah, they're a core part of the gameplay. They're interesting, but could be better. I rarely use them or find them unimportant. Now, this kind of applies to me because I don't use them as much as I should. I don't like them, would rather be removed. This is tricky for me. Because if you think about it, they are a core part of the gameplay that is actually factual. It can make a difference within the game. They're interesting, but could be better. I think my latest video pretty much touched up on that. I rarely use them or find them unimportant. Kind of speaks to me a little bit, but sometimes when I remember to use them, I use them, or depending on which one they are, etc., etc. I don't like them, would rather be removed. I don't hate them, but I could also do without them. So Wall, Rush, Hypersight. I'm going to go with they're interesting, but could be better, because the Hypersight, for instance, could be better by getting nerfed, so that way it doesn't work on every single player. I think it should just work for the player that activates it. And then Wall and Rush are fine. I think they can make a tremendous difference. Even though I kind of rarely use them because I don't use them as much as I should, I think they're also important. So I don't fully agree with this. And unlike, so it's either one of these two. Overall, I'd say there's room for improvement on everything. I think Rush is fine the way it is. The Wall, people have been asking for certain things to be changed on the Wall. And then obviously Hypersight. So interesting, but could be better. What would you prefer to do with the faction system? Keep it as is, simplify it, expand upon it, remove it entirely? Not sure. I wish they would allow us to give specific ideas on the bottom of every single answer in terms of like explain. But that would make things way too complicated, and there'd be way too many variables, and they're trying to keep things simple. What do they prefer? Keep it as is? No. Simplify it, expand upon it, remove it entirely. I wouldn't mind if they remove it entirely. I think if you make it too simple, I mean, I think it's simple enough, but the thing is, like, ultimately, if you're going to have something like a faction inside a game like this, it's got to be good, right? So I would personally like to see an expansion on it, because if they do it the right way, I think it would be a welcome addition. But at the same time, if they fuck it up, they might as well just remove it entirely. So I'm going to be optimistic and just say, and again, I know some of you are going to disagree with this because you think that it ruins the arena experience, even though I personally don't think so. But it really depends on how they expand upon it. You know what I mean? I'm going to pick expand upon it. You know what? Not sure. I mean, if I'm hesitating, and if I'm going between this and this, depending on how it's done, I'm not sure, because it depends on which direction they go into. If they were to actually give us details in terms of what they had in mind in terms of simplifying it or expanding upon it, then I can give you a more concrete answer. But until then, I'm not sure. So I'm going to submit that. Thank you for taking the survey. Your feedback help us guide the future of Splitgate 2. So yeah. But yeah, going back to here. One more thing I want to mention really quick is that we got there's another podcast coming on Friday, into where they're doing the one of the level designers for the game. He's actually the level designer and makes various maps with the games in the lab, map creator. So Yurgi, I believe, will be a part of that as well, and he's the one who's doing Attica Heights currently for X Defiant maps. He's the one that I've been talking to. So I highly recommend you go and check this out right here. So here's a link, twitch.tv, code Phoenix. And that's going to be this Friday. Highly recommend for those of you guys that are interested to look into that. And then, of course, we have the new event. But I like the fact that they made the deadline. I like the fact that they're doing a survey, which means that they're open to change and they're looking for more specific feedback beyond just content creators and to looking at players. So please, if you have not done this, if you've not done the survey, it's right here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to link it in the description below. I'm going to put all the links in the description below. Hopefully I don't forget it, because sometimes I do that. It's going to be in the description, and it might also be in the pinned comment that I always, post for every single one of my videos. So, but yeah, I want to know, what do you guys think of these questions? Sometimes I wish we can give more detail, but at the same time, it would just complicate things way too much, and it would add additional variables. So I think they just wanted to keep things simple. But I want to know, how did you guys answer this, for those of you guys that are willing to share in terms of something specific? So because I know that we have a lot of similar tastes, but at the same time, I know we also have a lot of different tastes, and I think that's where this game is going to be very interesting in terms of what direction they go in, and hopefully it's a clear-cut answer as to what the community thinks, because if we're getting even responses across the board, it's going to make it that much more difficult for the devs to change things up. So I don't know, but all I know at this point is that the fact that this is happening very soon on the 3rd of July is excellent. So we're looking at 9 weeks. We got a week and a half away. I'm sorry, not 9 weeks, 9 days. We got a week and a half away from this. And to top it all off, the one thing also that needs to be in the game at this point right now is a progression system beyond just the Mastery Camos. The Mastery Camos are going to help, but let's be real. It's going to be a temporary solution to a problem that is ongoing. So you need to find an ongoing solution. And I already did my part by making a video, and 2 of the devs responded to it, and they've even passed the video message along. But with that being said, the community is bigger than just me. Even though we are in the state that we are right now, in terms of the player count, which is kind of like a big question mark. It's not on Steam. We kind of know where we're at on Steam. But in terms of, consoles and stuff like that, I mean, obviously it's better, but still the game could be doing better. Otherwise, they wouldn't have a survey like this. So please fill out this survey so that way we can make, an answer a lot more clear. And answer honestly. Don't answer by what your favorite content creator answered. Don't answer by what your friends want. Answer by what you want, okay? Make these choices yours. It is a personal experience. So therefore, the correct answer is your personal experience. It's only wrong if you make your decisions based off of what somebody else thinks or what somebody else wants. So anyway, guys, with that being said, yeah, I'm looking forward to reading your comments down below and anything you want to share. And as always, I'd like to thank everybody for taking the time to watch and or listen. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll catch you guys on the next one.